look like we're getting ready for our guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is in the building, and we're getting ready for her because she's here to tell her story. Because a lot of Jamaicans came at her when she made the post. A lot of Jamaicans didn't believe her, but now she can live to say, see, I told you so. Was it an attempted kidnapping? To use the people and picnic, to use the story's family as human sacrifice? I don't know. I'm just asking these questions. You put the one and two together, because even after what happened just a Sunday ago or 2 Sundays ago, you decide. You decide. You decide. So tonight, I have her in the building. Guys, please help me welcome our very special guest for tonight, Sabrina. Sabrina, good night and welcome.
Hi.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
Well, I'm not hearing you.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
Open your mic. No, I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing you loud and clear earlier. Kevin's spirit now win tonight, you know. Spirit is not going to win tonight.
Okay, it's on.
Spirit is not winning tonight, so I don't know. Maybe your mic is muted or something.
No, it's not.
You know, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not hearing you though.
Okay, let me log out and come back. You want me to do that?
All right, so log out and log back in. That will give them enough time to share the live, guys. So she's logging out and she's logging back in. But make her go and read for a little bit. Run over to the comment section to see what our VVL family members are saying. Let me see what Anthony's saying, because I like when we interact, you know. I like when we interact. All right. I like that. Anthony's saying they have to wait until the body is released to the public. The lawyer is not privy to any special info. His lawyer is just doing her job. No need to hate on her. Well, you see, because me no lawyer, me no know, you know. I really don't know. I really don't know, brother. But it come off a little fishy to me. As in, why wouldn't they tell her where the body is? Even so, she must can, you know, at least be told where the body is. That's just my opinion. Georgia Edwards says, why she want to know? She not getting the chance to tamper with it. Can't trust them lawyer. Georgia, I mean, I don't know what she would want to tamper. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really can't understand, you know, that comment. But I understand and I respect your opinion. When I say I can't understand it, meaning that what is there to tamper with? I don't know. Sabrina, are you hearing me now?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm hearing you now. All right. Cool. Loud and clear. All right. Cool. I just have to turn down my house speaker. All right, guys. So we have Sabrina live in the house, and I was just talking to our viewers. Georgia, thank you for your comment. Anthony, thank you for your comment. All right. Cool. So, Madam Sabrina, how are you tonight? How are you feeling?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Okay, cool. And I'm doing great. So we are here to actually, you know, dissect your story and to listen to your story once again. I know that a lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have seen the video. But just for this exclusive interview on Hype TV and also on Facebook, you're being broadcast across the Caribbean and, of course, via, you know, Facebook globally. And we have a wonderful family here. And, guys, please, we're asking you to be respectful, because I know that when she just broke the story last year, a lot of, you know, Jamaicans were coming at her because, you know, as Jamaicans, we tend to defend each other. And at the time, I think most of the persons that were attacking you, I can probably safely say that they were supporters of Mr. Smith and not necessarily the, you know, Jamaicans, you know, who possibly didn't know him. Possibly. I am going to run with it and say, you know, majority of those who attack you, you know, okay, all right, cool. Georgia, I get it. The evidence. I get it. And thank you for your comments. All right. So, take me through the story. Let's talk about it. February 2020. Y'all jumped on the plane, left California, headed to Jamaica, thinking you're going to have the time of your life.
Absolutely.
Now, after getting off the plane, landing in Montego Bay, let's talk about it. What happened?
We went to an Airbnb that we had rented 2 months in advance from a woman named Mrs. C, and we there's an extensive process. You have to send in information on each guest. How many guests are there? We had a small baby that was coming, so we had a lot of communication with the owner of the house. And, so we get there and we go to the house and we find out that the actual owner isn't present in Jamaica. She was in New York. We didn't know that at the time. It was a little disappointing because she was so nice. We really wanted to meet her. So we get there and we're greeted by a maid slash cook and another young man, and they let us in. And we also had a driver, so that they were there. We went in. We loved the house because sometimes the house may be shown one way on the website and it's not quite as beautiful, but it was a beautiful house, beautiful, large, enough room for us. We had a lot of children with us, but we were really, really happy with the house. So we get there and then, we don't know anything about Jamaica. So we were asking like, okay, so what do we do for groceries? How does this work? We were asking the maid or the cook. And she said, okay, well, just give us $360 for groceries and that'll be enough to buy the things you want. She asked what we wanted. We wanted curry goat. We wanted some stewed chicken or whatever, some mackerel.
All right, hold on. How many days did you guys book the Airbnb for?
6
6 days. And this money that she told you would be enough to cover you guys for the 6 days?
Yes, she did. She said it would be enough based on what we wanted, $360 to buy groceries for 6 days.
Okay, continue.
So that was fine. We had no problem with that whatsoever. We gave her the money and then we went on about Jamaica the first day. I don't remember what excursion we did, but we went somewhere. The driver was wonderful. He took us everywhere. He waited for us everywhere. He was just perfect. He didn't leave us, so we felt really comfortable. So on the first or the second day, to be honest, I can't remember. We came back and there was a black BMW in the driveway and a whole lot of people, just a whole lot of men. And someone said to me, hey, he had a bunch of titles, to be honest. Kevin, Crown Bishop, Your Excellency, Doctor, Pastor. He wants to meet you. So I go out and I actually sit in the car with him. And he starts talking to me and he says, I own this property. I wanted to come and see who is in my property because I didn't know anybody was in my property. And I'm like, we rented this off Airbnb from Mrs. C. And hold
on, Sabrina. I deliberately told her not to mention people's real names because it's plastered already all over social media. But I asked her. So when I hear she say Mrs. C, that's actually code name for the person's or subject that she'll be talking about. Right. So hold on. So let me get it. So you rented this from the previous owner on Airbnb. You spoke to the previous owner. Then a day or two in your vacation, somebody came and said that His Excellency wants to meet you. To your surprise, you don't know who this Miss Excellency,
had no idea,
Mr. Excellency or His Excellency or Bishop or whatever is.
At all. And they were already on the property. They weren't outside the gate. They were on the property. So I go out and, I'm listening to his story and he starts to show me all of this communication in his phone between him and Mrs. C, the previous owner, and talking about the sale of the property and that he bought it for us and from her and the things that were going wrong. Just a whole bunch of information that really didn't concern me whatsoever. But I just listened and then he started to talk negatively about the previous owner and, a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need to hear. But I listened and he went on to tell me that he was of royal blood and he was the youngest pastor in Jamaica and he was how he got his title of Your Excellency because of what royalty, the lineage, he wanted to talk about all that. And then he says, my lawyer told me that I should throw you guys out. And I said, well, I don't know a lawyer in the world that would tell you after we rented this fair and square off the Airbnb website, we paid $2,300 for this place and another $960 for a driver. I don't know a lawyer in the world that would tell you that you should throw us out. But he persisted like, my lawyer said I should throw you out, but I'm Bishop Kevin you know, of whoever. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you stay. And he kind of made me feel like that we were now at his mercy. You know, and this was my trip. I planned this trip. So I kind of felt responsible for everybody. I was responsible for everybody. So at this time, I remember feeling like I had to be extra nice. Like, okay, well, thank you, Mr. Bishop, you know, is what we called it. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for letting us stay. This, that, and the other. Even though I thought it was a little unusual, but I still was like, okay, you know, thank you so much. You know, we leave on the 26th anyway. And, you know, we had just gotten there. It was couldn't have been more than the 22nd because it was the first or the second day that he showed up. So I go on and he kept asking me, well, who's here? Who's here? So I actually started escorting each one of my friends and their children outside to meet him. And, you know, there were my friend, she had twin 11-year-olds, another friend of mine, she had a 21-year-old, and my daughter was 25, my 8-month-old grandson, my 7-year-old daughter. So I literally brought everybody outside to meet him. Now, there were a whole lot of other people on the property too, all male. And at this time, the maid was, or the cook, the one that took the money, he asked me, he said, how much money did you give her? And I said, $360. And he said, well, she told us that you only gave her $80. I said, that's a lie. That's
all right, hold on. Before you get into that, let us kind of go back a little bit. Okay. When Kevin Smith came to the property and spoke with you, saying that he's the owner, didn't you contact Mr. C? The fact that you rented it? What happened when you contacted her?
Absolutely.
What was her response?
I communicated with her for everything. She said she showed me documentation from her lawyer showing that there was a sale to the property, but he was not to take possession of the property, meaning the sale wasn't final or however that works until the 27th. So if we were her last tenants that she was able to rent while she still owned the property, then it was perfect timing. You know, from according to the letter that I got from her lawyer, he was not even supposed to be there on the 22nd. He was the one that was technically trespassing while he was saying that we were trespassing on his property and he should throw us out. So yeah, she was very nice. She was very apologetic. She also had talked briefly about how they had communicated and how it had been negative, you know, and how, you know, he wasn't the best person in the world, but she was very kind. She was very loving. And so yeah.
Hold on. Let us take a look at this. What we have on screen now is from their lawyer. It's from the previous owner's lawyer, right? That they wrote to the Coral Gardens police station because they had to send this letter to the police to verify whether or not he was the owner during your stay, or it would be after the stay. So if you guys can see it, I'm just going to see if I can quickly read it. It says, we act for and on behalf of, and I, you know, kind of blocked out the vendor's name, the vendors of the caption, the property. We enclose here with a copy of a duty stamped agreement for sale. We received the sums representing the balance to close the caption, the sale, via check on February 18, 2020. The said checks, being U.S. checks, were held by our bank for clearance, as is the usual course. Therefore, the full payment for completion of the sale was received only today, February 25, 2020, being the date the sums cleared in our account. Today is consequently the day that possession would rightly be granted to the purchaser, Mr. Kevin Smith. Copies of the checks are enclosed, and you may note that 2 of them are not manager's checks and 1 is dated February 17, 2020. This clearly refutes Mr. Smith's assertion that we received all money and closed the sale on February 7, 2020. Notwithstanding this, the purchaser, Mr. Kevin Smith, bombarded his way onto said property on February 18, 2020, before the date of completion and without permission. We understand that Mr. Smith is now refusing to release the chattel and furniture from the property to our clients. So in other words, when he bombarded the premises, he was actually trespassing according to what documents the lawyers sent to the police station. So
Yes.
you weren't, so him trying to play as if he's doing you a favor
Right.
is just one of his con moves based on what I'm understanding. But we also can't really blame him though. I mean, in terms of, I personally think that the previous owners should have came to your rescue, should have came to your defense, should have called him and asked him to leave the property, because legally he wasn't entitled to the property title until after you guys would have checked out, which would be the 26th. So he would be the owner on the 27th because you guys would have checked out on the 26th, right? Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. She did come to our rescue though. She did.
Okay.
I don't know if she contacted him directly,
Mhm.
but everything that happened, I was in communication with her. Even when the cook stole the money, she forwarded the $360 back to us. It was everything. So I don't know if she called him directly, because I don't know if they had a relationship because they were going through a legal issue. But with us, she absolutely had our back. We were only able to get out of there and get into a new property because of her.
All right. Before you get into all of that, what was the relationship like between you and the cook?
Well, first, we loved her. We bonded immediately with her. As soon as, the 8-month-old, my grandson, she embraced the baby. She helped us get a crib. So as soon as we got there, she was very nice. We really instantly bond. It seemed like they're Jamaicans are my experience with the very positive ones that I saw were just really loving. Just, she was very loving and just kind of family, like, oh, give me that baby. He was crying and my daughter couldn't keep him from crying at the time. So she would just take the baby and bounce the baby, so we really liked her. We really liked her.
So, I mean, so therefore it was kind of disappointing to, have her alleged stole y'all money. How did that happen?
Well, yes, it was very disappointing. As a matter of fact, it was very disappointing. You hear me, for those who have seen the video, I'm crying in the video. It hurt me because I really did think just right off that she was this great person. But how that happened is because when he got onto the property that day, he brings it up and says to me, how much did you give her? Because she said you only gave her $80. And we were like, no, we gave her 380. We didn't even know there was a problem yet until he brought it to our attention. He said, well, and she was standing, they were firing her that day. Her bags were packed and we're like, well, what's going on? And he was like, oh, she stole your money because she told us that, she only gave us this, that, and the other. So I'm firing her, so.
Hold on, who said they're firing her? Mr. Excellency said that?
He did fire her.
So after he came and he actually had dialogue with you that night, and you would assume that the previous owner would contact him. Why was he even still allowed to be, communicating with you and even handling the daily runnings of the property if he legally shouldn't be the owner until after you guys checked out?
Right.
So that's the part that's really puzzling to me now.
That's information we got after the fact. So at this moment, I'm believing him. I have no reason not to, because not only is he on the property, he's changing the locks and firing the staff. So there's no reason for me to question that he's not really supposed to have access to this property. When they come in Bogart and he's got 6 people with him and they changing the locks, firing the staff, how would we have ever known? There's no way in that moment, before I talked to Miss C, that I would have known to say, no, sir, you're not I wouldn't have known any of that.
Right. So the staff that was there prior to Kevin's staff that he actually, brought in after firing, were those employed by the previous owner, or they were friends of Kevin as well?
No, they were employed by the previous owner.
So this lady who was your cook and the housekeeper,
yes.
she based on your recollection, she wasn't a member of his church.
Absolutely not. No, Miss C spoke of her during the communication of us renting the property. We knew her name before we ever got there. So she was an employee of Miss C, the previous owner, her and the driver.
Right.
So yeah.
So I think you said that the driver was the only person that wasn't fired.
He was not fired. There were some negative conversations between him and Mr. Smith. I don't really know. I don't remember what that was about, but I do remember they had a couple of actual arguments during that time. Something was going on that, you know, maybe it had to do with whatever they had going on during the sale of the property, because the driver lived on the property. There's a tiny house like off to the left, or he lived there. So he was privy to whatever transpired before. And I remember specifically Mr. Smith speaking negatively about the driver and saying he was going to fire her. By this time, we're like, no, we need a driver and we like him. And, you know, we kind of was like, no. And there was a time when he disappeared. The driver like left because we were supposed to go out to Margaritaville or somewhere that night. And we were calling because we thought he had gotten rid of the driver, because he wasn't answering our calls for a minute. We're like crying, actually, because at this point we had bonded and he was like all we had left. So we didn't feel safe. And we were like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So finally he shows up and we're literally crying like, you know, we thought you left us, you know, you're the only person we know out here now. So
he was going in on everybody then.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, you know, and it took, I didn't, you know, now in hindsight, I'm connecting all the dots and remembering all that. But yeah, as a matter of fact, he was, him and the driver had a problem with each other for some reason. You know, I don't know what it was.
All right. Let's go back to the day you met him and he pretty much told you that he's the owner and everything as of today will be run by him. What happened the next day?
So the next day, now, like I said, I kind of felt like I was put in a position to where we kind of had to kiss his butt, really, like, okay, Mr. Smith, whatever you say, Mr. Smith, you know. So I had a friend from Kingston who I hadn't seen in years. So we made contact and she was supposed to come meet us at the house. She knew we were coming. And she came and she was with us for a few days. He had a problem with that. I initially paid for 10 people to come to this house, but my one of my youngest daughters didn't come. So there were only 9. So I could bring whoever I want. But when they found out that I had a native there from Kingston, they literally called my phone. He called my phone. He said, oh, no, your friend has to leave. Who is she? Why is she there? You know, just all in our business. You know, I'm saying, what does that have to do with you? It has anything to do with you. When I rented this property, I rented it for 10 people. You know, we only brought 9 people. So therefore, if I brought my friend over to stay with us for a few days, so what? It's a gigantic mansion. Who cares? Anyways, so the next day, we just went on one of our excursions. I don't know. We had a great time in Jamaica. We went to Dunn's River Falls. We did everything. But I don't remember which excursion it was. But we come home and the air conditioner, the air is off. Now, you know, that's ridiculous. We from California. So for the air to be off, already we're in an element that's hotter than what we're used to. So the air is off. So we notice it immediately. Like, what's going on? The air is off. So I go and I find the guy, because understand, he had planted all of these young boys in the house. One was living in the garage. One was staying over in the place that the driver used to live in. You know, one was supposed to be the new cook. Mind you, he charged.
Hold on. We're trying to understand this. So after firing the previous staff,
yes,
he brought his own people in.
His own staff.
Have them living there?
Yes, they were living there. So much so that, you know, we had small kids. So one day we like, the kids want to watch cartoons in the living room. One of them is just sitting there, just on the couch, just chilling, like, you know, and that's when I started
lounging.
Like, yes.
What if the workers just lounging?
Just lounging in the living room. And we're like, okay, they're invading our space. This is, you know, it was one thing for them to be in the garage. The garage had a bed in it and a little place, it looks like somebody actually normally did live in the garage, you know. So that's one thing for you to be in the garage. It's another thing for you to be in the living room with us. That's ridiculous. So we started to get annoyed by that. And so the next day we go to another excursion and we come home and the water is off. We hot, we sweaty, we want to take showers, and the hot water is off, right? So I go and find the guy that's in the garage, and I say, excuse me, you know, what's going on? What is the problem? I mean, yesterday the air's off, today's the water off. So what they said to me, when I started, now I'm irritated. Now I'm going to a couple of them, and I'm saying, you know what? I put them outside, and I said, you know what? I'm starting to feel like you're mistreating my family. Well, why would you cut the air off? Why would you cut the water off? So they said, oh, it's because Bishop is coming into this new property he's just purchased. He doesn't want a high water bill and a high electric bill, whatever. So I contacted Miss C, and she said, all that's still in my name. All of the bills are still in my name. Nothing is in his name yet. So that's ridiculous, you know. So with that said, I don't know why they did that to us, to be honest. You know, why would you do that? You see babies in this house. Why would you cut the water off? Why would you cut the air off? It doesn't make any sense, you know. So after that, I started to complain a little bit more and tell her, you know, I don't feel comfortable. When they started to complain about my friend who was a native of Kingston being there, and basically told us we had to make her leave. And you know, I really wish I would have stood my ground on that, because I think having her there made them uncomfortable in hindsight. In hindsight, I'm like, why? Because I couldn't understand then. Why do they want her to leave? Why can't she be here? What is the problem? You know, but just looking back over it now, it makes sense why they wanted her gone. So after that, you know, like I said, I was in constant communication with the previous owner. So she said, you know what? This is not right. I'm going to move you guys. This is wrong. This man is evil. You know, I'm going to move you guys to a new house. It's not as lavish as this house. It's not as wonderful as this house. She immediately gave us $1,000 back. Okay. Well, she did not have to do. Now, she already gave us $360 back that the maid stole. Now she's giving us another $1,000 back just because she feels bad that this person is doing this to us. So,
right. So was it? Hold on. Stick a pin. Couldn't she have sent somebody to represent her? Because I know she was abroad, but she allowed this man to pretty much just take advantage of you guys, even trespass on her property, do as he pleased, fire her staff, which I'm still puzzled. How did she allow that? And not only that, but start controlling the utilities. So was it a case where she had nobody in Jamaica whatsoever to come to physically be there to defend you guys?
Well, she clearly had people in Jamaica, because it is her friend, along with our driver, that moved us to the new house. So she did have friends, and it was, you know, she was able to get us into a new house, and that person was able to come along with another car with our driver in order to get us. When you see us climb that fence, those two cars you see out there, one of those people is her friend that she sent.
Yeah, but Sabrina, I'm just trying to understand, like why she allowed you guys to be uncomfortable after you guys booked the Airbnb through her, paid your money to her. Why was she kissing up to this pastor? Was she a friend of the pastor? Was she a member of the church? I mean, did you ask these questions even after?
I didn't, because of her kindness and her assuming responsibility, because she could have easily just been like, it's not my business, don't have nothing to do with me. She's already been paid through Airbnb. She could have easily just threw her hands up and turned her phone off. She was gone. She was in New York. So she didn't have to she definitely didn't have to give us the money back that the maid stole. She definitely didn't have to give us $1,000 back. And she definitely didn't have to find us a new house. Because had she not found us a new house, we would have been stuck.
True. I am just feeding off of some of the comments coming in.
No, I know a lot of people said that. Make no mistake. People have said that. They said everybody, the driver, her, it was all one big unit. Everybody was a plan. So let me just say this. If it was, they're some hell of a actors, because the driver and the previous owner truly made us believe that they had our back no matter what. And even if, you know, it's been so much said about that, and I have to continuously say that because all I have is my perception of what happened then, and the way it is. What would we have done had she not relocated us? You know,
Right.
you know, sometimes when people go on vacation, they might not have another $1,000 or another $2,000 to go rent a new property. You know.
True.
And at this moment, we're kind of scared. We don't feel like we could trust anybody. We don't know, you know. So to be honest, I felt really grateful. So if it was an act, it was a good act. That's all I can say. And I just in my heart, I don't feel that it was. So yes, everybody's like, oh well, it's her fault because the Airbnb. Let me be clear. I don't believe this is even an Airbnb issue. This is not about Airbnb. This is about an evil person, because this is the thing. Even if her and him and there was some shenanigans going on with the sale of the property, which is very possible, right? Even if that's the case, even if she shouldn't have taken the last tenant because the dates were so close, even if that's the case, that doesn't make Mr. Smith the type of person that's capable of chaining women and children in a property, or the type of person that's capable of giving the order to turn off the air conditioner and turn off the, you know, because according to him, the way he presented himself, he was super rich. He was of royal blood. He was this, that, and the other. So if I was super rich and somebody did, and this happened, and I'm gonna lose a few $1,000s, then oh well, if I, at the very least, I'm gonna sue the previous owner. I'm not going to chain women and children who had absolutely nothing to do with this. So to be honest, I truly now do not believe what they did to us has anything to do with the sale of the property, because he's a businessman. He knows how to go after Airbnb if he needed to. You know, they already have legal paperwork between the two of them. So this doesn't, how do you suddenly turn into a person that's like, to hit babies, children, little kids, my 7-year-old. How do you turn into a person that's capable of training? I don't believe that. I believe that and make no mistake, when this happened, when I came home, I was afraid, because I couldn't understand why everybody from Jamaica was so upset with me. I you know, I didn't understand, and I don't believe he knew that I was a person in America that had a huge voice. You know, so when I plastered that video over a year ago, as you see now, it's everywhere. I went into all his forums, everywhere, and I posted it. I tried to warn people. I contacted the Jamaican embassy. I contacted the consulate. Everybody, nobody responded. Nobody got back to me. Nobody cared then. You know, period. And this is all I'm saying. And I want to be clear. What happened to these people recently and losing their lives, of course, what happened to us in no way compares. I am very hurt. My heart goes out to the families of everybody that was harmed. But had they at least put up a red flag for what happened to us, and at least had this man on their radar of being capable of even this behavior, maybe, just maybe, he would not have gotten away with what happened now. You know, had they just cared enough to investigate. How do you not care? And the reason why I'm certain that they didn't care is because, as you see in the video, we went straight to the Coral Gardens Police Department directly.
But before you get there, let's go back to when you actually told them that you want the water to cut back on. Did they immediately put back the water on for you?
Immediately. As a matter of fact, I stood there and watched him. He went right over and pressed a button. It was, I don't know, they don't necessarily have buttons like that in America, but he went right over to the wall and pressed a button right next to the hot water heater and water, which means you did it on purpose.
So he posted his boys on the property.
Yes, he did.
To watch you guys.
Yep.
He wanted to get rid of the Jamaican, because then the Jamaican would have actually picked up. The Jamaican probably would have thrown a monkey wrench in their plans, whatever plans they had.
I believe that.
If they wanted to do something, because they might think that you guys are, you know, foreigners and don't understand how the daily runnings and how people operate in Jamaica. So they just wanted to get rid of every possible distraction or anybody that would, as I said, thwart their attempts in terms of, treating you guys like slaves, or as I said, possibly, trying to kidnap you guys for human sacrifice based on what's going on now. So let's talk about you and your family. You guys got real uncomfortable. What was your next move after that?
After we actually, okay, so I went to I had been communicating with the previous owner, and we had made a decision while we were out that day. We made a decision that she was going to move us. She said, you know what, I'm moving you guys. So we knew when we got home that we were leaving that day, right? But we went on and finished our excursion, had a great day. And we go home, and I tell everybody, pack now, pack your suitcase, go upstairs, just start packing. There's so many of us, we took time, got everything together, got the babies together, got everything together. So we packed, we rolled all of our suitcases down to the front door, just set them right at the front door. So after everybody's packed, everybody's suitcases down, I go into the garage where one of them was there, right? The older one, the one that he said was a ex-police officer. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I go to him and I say, I was very nice. I said, listen, we're not happy. We're not comfortable here anymore. We just don't, something's not right. So we're just leaving. We don't want any money back. Thank you guys for everything. I was just being nice, but we're leaving today. And now this man had been nice. He had been, he defended us. He had an argument with the maid right in front of us about our money, making us feel like he had our back. So he had been really nice and very kind of protective because, he was presented to us as an ex-police officer. So I say, we're leaving. Thank you. We don't want no money back. He says, no. So I'm like, no, we're leaving. We're leaving. So he said, no, just like that. He says, no, that's rude. He said, you're rude. You didn't tell us you were leaving. You're not scheduled to leave until the 26th. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? We want to go now. We don't want no money back. We don't want, because I kept thinking that was what was it about? I don't care about the money. We need to leave. We're leaving. Thank you. Bye. He was like, no. Like, just no.
So he said, he told you that y'all can't leave after y'all pack your bags and wanting to.
He said no.
Check out. He said you can't check out. You can't leave.
No. I said, what are you talking about? I said, if I rented a Hilton Marriott and I paid for 8 days and I decided to leave in 6 days, do they change? What are you talking? Well, I didn't say do you change because I know I was chained in yet, but I was like, do they tell me? No, what are you talking about? Right. So I heard somebody, I really been racking my mind trying to remember who I heard, because he was calling Mrs. Smith on the phone. But I heard somebody behind me say, he chained the gate, right? So I turned, ran out the garage, go down this driveway where the driver and the other friend of Mrs. C were waiting with the van and the car to take us to the knots, because the plan was that we were leaving. They knew we were leaving, meaning the two people on the outside the gate. Now, apparently somebody, while we were packing, must have chained the gate, because they were just still there with the cars on the outside of the gate. I don't know how they didn't see them chain the gate, but the gate was chained and they were standing on the outside the gate. So I'm like, I go down there to him and I'm like, I just told him we were leaving and they said chain the gate, and then I noticed the chain is on the gate. So I'm like, what? Oh my God. And I'm just like panicking, like what is going on? So I happened to see in that moment that there was a little part of the fence that was lower than this big, that we could get over. And as soon as I noticed it, I turn around, I run back up the driveway, and I start screaming to my friends and my family and my kids. I said, let's go. We start rolling the suitcases down, and it's just a panic. You see it in the video. We're just panicking. We're running. We got all the kids. We got to get the little 8-month-old baby over the fence. My 25-year-old daughter who's pregnant at the time over the fence. My 7-year-old daughter who's pregnant at the time over the fence. My friend's 11-year-old twins over the fence. So that's what you see, all that chaos, us trying to get out, get out, get out, get out. So we get over the fence, as you see, and I'm talking. You hear me saying, how could you? What's wrong? Why would you follow a wrong man? Because Bishop was not on the property at the time. He just gave the order to chain the gate. You know, so I'm talking to the staff who are now kind of migrating down the driveway. And I'm saying, how could you follow a wrong man? How could you follow a wrong man? How could you let somebody tell you to chain us in this property? This is ridiculous. So that's what you hear when I'm going back and forth and I'm trying to make sure everybody's in the vans, and I'm trying to make sure. So that's how we got out. We got out. We go, I allowed them to take the children to the new property.
Hold on. Let's not go there yet. Let's go back a little bit. Let's take it back. All right. When you went to the whatever his name is, I was just about to call his name, who was living in the garage, and he said to you, no, y'all can't leave. Y'all can't leave like that. Y'all are rude.
Right.
What was all right? As a matter of fact, let's jump to when you realized that the gates were chained. What was going through your mind? What were you thinking at that time?
You know, my daughter jokingly says that I shifted into mama bear mode because it's just instantaneous. Like, oh my God. As soon as I realized he was serious, because understand, I kept asking him over and over again, like making the question in different forms to be sure. Like, wait a minute, you mean what? We can't. No, what are you talking about? So I stood there and literally asked the question 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 different ways to be sure. Once it was certain, and I saw the change in his demeanor, that was the most disturbing, to be honest. I have to be honest. He had not shown that demeanor at all. So
like what? Like what?
He was just changed. He was like, no, you're rude. You know, like what? I mean, he was very aggressive in that moment, you know, and we hadn't seen that part of him. And he was very quiet up until that point, other than the one time when he was going back and forth with the maid over our money. But other than that, he was nice. Good morning. Hi. Hey, you know.
Did you ever think about them having plans to kidnap your family, kill your family, wanting to, you know, I mean, well, could this have been a case where because you were accusing the maid for stealing your money? Could, you know, I mean, really and truly, what was really going through your mind at that time?
Initially, we didn't know. No, not. I mean, it's hard for you to even think that was the plan. We have many times, of course, we were like, well, what were they going to do with us? What was the plan? What was, you know, we really were like, what are they going to try to force more money out of us? Which that's not a surefire plan for somebody, because you know, when people are finishing vacations, maybe they've spent their last. There might not be no more money for you to get from us, you know. So we talked about that a lot. Like, were they just going to try to make us give them more money, like a gunpoint or something? Or you know, what were they going to do? You know, we've even said, were they going to take the kids, sell the kids? You don't know what kind of thing. But we said that jokingly. To be honest, we didn't know. Once we were home and safe, we were just mulling over ideas of what was possible. But the mind of a good person doesn't make you think that extreme.
You're in danger. Right?
We would have never thought that. The worst, I'm telling you, the worst I thought was that they were going to put a gun to our head and make us give them more money. That's what I believe. That's what I thought.
So this whole sacrifice thing wasn't even.
I didn't know that was not at all. No.
Wow. You see how you see how people are kidnapped and killed, and when people go missing, pretty much oblivious to what will happen or could have happened.
If I thought that, if I had known that kind of stuff was happening in Jamaica, I wouldn't have felt comfortable staying in the new house the last 2 days. You understand?
Right. True.
There's no way. If that's where my mind was at, I would. And I'm and not only that, I'm on video showing the new house. Remember, showing where we are. So it's no way. If I thought I was in that kind of danger, there's no way I would be videotaping the new house, letting everybody know where we are. And I would not have stayed there. No matter how much it would have cost, we would have been out of there immediately if I would have thought it was something. First of all, who thinks about human sacrifice, that somebody is capable of that? Nobody. Who?
That's true.
I didn't know they was doing that in the world.
I just wanted to understand, like,
Yeah.
you know, what kind of mind frame you were in at that
Then
time, because Jamaica. Oh, you hear about crime. Oh, as you said, it might have been held at a gun, held up
right,
with a gun, and to be like, you know what, pay us more money or
right.
give us some of your clothing that you brought from foreign or the
And that's what I
expensive
thought.
name
I
brand
thought
stuff.
that
You know what I mean?
I have indeed heard about the crime. Make no mistake. I have heard about the crime. But the
Hmm.
extent of the crime that I have heard about in Jamaica is people getting killed, people getting shot for money. I've never in my life heard of human sacrifice or this type of stuff that this man has done now. I never would have thought that. And I'm gonna tell you, when I found out about it, it was just like, wow. I mean, can you imagine a year later? Because of course, I was forced to let this go because nobody did anything, nobody cared. So we let it go, and that was that. And of course, there was a degree of gratitude because I did feel like, something wasn't right, and we had to kind of accept that we will never truly know what they were going to do with us. We had just threw our hands up to it. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to do anything about it, and that was that. They haven't heard anything about it. Nobody ever emailed us back.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. All right. Let's get to just because I want to continue the story after you guys hopped over the fence and
Mm-hmm.
got y'all luggage and all of that out, and then they actually you actually trust a driver to transport your family with your grandkids
I
and your
did.
friends' kids to the next property. So I'm telling you, you're very strong and you're
I
very
know.
brave. And I understand that you didn't even understand who you were dealing with at the particular time when
At
all of
all.
this was going down. But let's talk about you guys being locked in the house. How did that happen? Because it's not only that he chained the
Oh
gate,
yeah.
but
Right.
you guys were actually locked up in the house. You couldn't get out the house.
So
What
so yeah.
happened?
So throughout that week, as you see the video I sent you, where I was trying, it was a Jamaican rainstorm that morning, and I get up early, so I was up super early, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a rainstorm. I run to the front door. It's locked. I mean, I had no clue that it would be locked. I immediately try to lock the door. You see on the video, I have to go get the guy. He has the key. I even say to him in the video, like, were we locked in here? But even in that moment, they are so good at convincing you that this is customary in Jamaica, that, oh, that's what they do for your safety. We lock you in. But if the house was on fire, how would we get out? If you got us chained in the front, chained in the back, I have to wake you up to get you to open the door. That I understand safety, make no mistake, but also if we are chained in, and if this is something you do, why didn't anyone tell us that? Why didn't you say, listen, we don't want you guys to be alarmed, because if you get up and try to go outside, the door is locked. Why wouldn't somebody say that?
So he changed the locks to the door
He
and
changed
didn't
the
give
lock.
you guys a key, because prior to
Absolutely
that
not.
y'all could go out and come back in and open the doors and all of that, because the when you guys rented the place from Miss C, the maid gave you guys keys to the apartment, right? To the house, right?
You know what? We were never given a key.
So
We
how
were
did you
never.
guys get back in?
The
Somebody was
door.
always there to let you guys in.
I'm trying to remember. First of all, we were never given a key, meaning at all. We were never given a key, but there was always a situation where if you go to the door, we get up in the morning, the driver's here, everything's open, the maid was there, so nothing was locked initially. You understand? I didn't know that it was locked, but we weren't given a key. Let's be clear. When we came home, we would call, if we weren't somebody, we would call and they would open the gate, or we did not have a key to that property. And you just made me think of that, because I realized we were never given a key. When we pulled up the day one, they never presented us with a key at all. Okay. So
Wow. So they locked
I
you guys in the house.
definitely
No
did
keys was given. No
not.
keys were given on the day you guys checked in, which
Absolutely not.
some people would say, but come on, Sabrina, that should have, raised the red
Well, that's
flag
a red
for
flag.
you.
Absolutely. but you know, see, the thing is, the way the houses ran, it was like the maid was here, somebody, it's so many people on the property. It wasn't. Now in hindsight, absolutely, I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. It is a red flag. Why we didn't get a key? But the way it was the maid was always there, the cook was there, the houseboy was always there, you know, so the door was open. When we came in and pulled up from each excursion, we just walked right in. The doors weren't locked, you know, so I don't know. They did tell me that, okay, well, we lock you in at night for your safety. And as you see, one of the pictures you see, there's a lock on the back gate too, because I just wanted to kind of go out one day and go walking around the property and just, you know, get some air. That's the
you were. I mean, I'm laughing at it now because you guys are safe and thank God. But it looks as if you were in a prison in Mobay. You probably in Kevin Smith's prison because there is absolutely.
You know, and I do question, like, although I was able to react to certain red flags, there were a whole lot I missed. There were a whole lot of signs from the beginning that weren't right, but they kept saying, this is
that's
what
how Jamaica.
And even many people, if you notice on my video, and even many people, if you notice on my video in the comments, they're like, oh, well, you must never been to Jamaica. That's what they do in Jamaica, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was a lot of red flags, I guess.
That's crazy. All right. So after you hop over the fence and you got your family out and you feel a little safe now, then of course, naturally, you're going to go to the police to make a complaint. What happened when you got to the police station?
Go to the police. Officer, I don't know. Can I mention his name?
No, just say
okay. Officer. As you see in the video, he's calling. And first of all, it took us a minute to get them up. Like, hey, look, somebody just changed this. Hello. They just was like not interested at first, like at all. Like, what's going on? What do you need? You know, they just weren't interested at first. So I had to like kind of get a little like, no, listen, let me tell you what happened. So finally, he calls the property and he speaks to Mr. Smith. And as you hear him on the phone asking Mr. Smith if he wants them to come there or if he wants, you know, as you see in that video, I had to keep feeding him like stuff to say, like, ask him, did he chain us in the property? Because he was trying to say,
all right, hold on. Let us see if we can. I'm not going to show his face. I don't want to show that. But what I'll do, I will just play the video and we'll listen to the audio because you have to be definitely kind of you know, coaching him on how to do his job. I mean, you're feeding him with the information, yes, but to me, it sounds as if he is actually giving Mr. Smith the lead.
Right.
He's like, okay, I'm a cop, but you're Mr. Smith. I'm going to ask you what you want to do. Guys, take a listen. All right, I'm not. All right, let me sort that audio part out because I'm not hearing it. All right, but walk us through the conversation between the police officer and Kevin.
He was asking, well, at first Kevin started saying that we didn't pay. So immediately, of course, if you've ever rented an Airbnb, you know that you have to pay in advance before you can access the property. Before the date that you're supposed to arrive, everything has to be paid in advance. We paid $2,300. I had my daughter bring up those receipts right there because that was ridiculous to me, first of all, to even say that. But okay, thank God you said it. We got our receipts right here. Pull up our receipts. $2,300 we paid. Showed that to the police officers. And he's just saying different stuff like they're not allowed on our property because the police officer.
No, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Okay. The police officer is asking him, okay, do you want me to come there or do you want to come down to the police station? You know, so he says, oh, well, they're not allowed on my property or, you know, this, that, and the other. And that's
all right. Let us try and see if we can hear that
from the Curragh Gardens police station. All right, I am of the knowledge that you recently purchased a home, and there's some issue with some guests there now. Yeah, say again. They are checked out, and they're supposed to check out when? Wednesday. Okay. All right. Where are you now?
Ask him, did he chain the gate?
You're where? You're at the house? All right. You want us to come to you, or you'll come to the station? Because they are here.
Tell him ask him, did he chain us in the house?
They're here for what reason? They were chained inside the yard. They were locked, but with the gate was chained up with padlock and chain. It's locked in the night and in the day.
We asked to leave. Oh no.
All right. Because I'm not hearing you so clearly, I'd rather to speak to you in person, whether you come to the station or leave.
When has it ever been where a police is doing an investigation and is given a suspect, because you're the complainant?
Mm-hmm.
When can anybody tell me on the live if they've ever heard that before, where the police is giving you the opportunity to say you got to come to us, or if you want us to come to you or whatnot? Wouldn't you then demand or ask or request him to come to the station because you want to write a report and he must come to give a report? Is it that this policeman knew exactly who he was talking to?
Mm-hmm. You
So
know,
that's
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't catch that then. You know, I didn't realize, like, why, but after the fact, it's like, why would he? Look, we just said he chained us in this property. Let's go. Let's go get him. So yeah, you sure was.
And there is something about it. All right, let me kind of back up just a little bit, guys, because this is getting interesting now. When me ever hear police are calling nobody and they pan, hey, sir, yes, we have a report here, and I would like to know if you'd like for us to come, or would you like to come down to us? I've never heard that before.
They were locked, but with the gate was chained up with padlock and chain. It's locked in the night and in the day.
We asked to leave. Oh no.
All right.
Even if it was locked in the day, and even if it's locked in the night, why then his little boy, his little henchman, his little security guard, then is going to look at you guys and say, no, you guys can't leave?
Right. It's ridiculous.
Anyhow, I'm getting too worked up over this. I shouldn't have played this part, because this is the part that got me. I can understand that he came in and he tried to showboat and, gave you his many titles and tried to bedazzle you. And I think at one point you said that he actually invited you guys for dinner, or he came over for dinner, had dinner with your family.
He did.
So he probably was using that opportunity to scope and to...
I believe that. And
people
when I think about that,
right?
Huh?
Viewers want to see what going on. The man actually went to dinner with the family.
So he came to the house. So what happened was, after the maid took the money, he told us, you know what? I know this wonderful cook. He is a 5-star chef at some major hotel, and I'm going to get this cook for you. But y'all do have to give us an extra $360, which we did, because we were at, what were we going to do?
So hold on, he asked for another $360 that the lady took from you guys?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, no, sir.
Yes, he did. We gave him another $300.
Hold on.
You know what?
Hold on. Sorry, Sabrina, sorry. 6 and 3 is 9, right?
Yes.
And for the people who are watching on the live, who actually kind of pick up on where I'm going with it, 6 and 3 are 9. All right, continue.
So, which I did find unusual that he did ask us for the money, because he talked continuously about how rich he was, right? And if you're so rich and so you see these people, and this woman done did them wrong and stole their money, why would you ask him for more money? So not only did he ask us for another $360, which we gave him because we didn't really have a choice, because we didn't have no food, right? He said we had to pay this 5-star chef $140 to come cook. So we don't have nobody to cook for us. So we didn't have a choice, right? And we didn't have no food. So we gave them additional $360 and $140. Okay.
Wow.
And
wow.
I mean, I was of the mindset, let me be clear. I was of the mindset that I need to try to salvage the rest of this vacation and make sure that my friends and family are having a good time. So I'm one of those people, even if I kind of feel like you might be taking advantage of me financially,
right.
Is go get us a cook and get the food here so we can just eat and enjoy, then here, take it. So we did pay. We all put our money together and we paid that additional money. We did.
All right.
And then let me just say this. And then
go ahead.
We love curry goat, right? We love curry goat.
I know.
So they made us a big pot of curry goat with our money, of course, and our groceries. We come home from the excursion. We like, oh yeah, we're gonna eat the leftovers of curry goat. We can't wait to eat this curry goat. They ate it. The houseboys ate our food that we just paid twice for, basically. Can you believe that?
So hold on. The 5-star chef that cooked the curry goat was given to you guys by Mr. Smith. Right. And his boys ate all the curry goat. Y'all didn't partake in the curry goat?
We ate it the first night, understand, but it was a big pot left.
Okay.
So the next day, we were like, we can't wait to get home to get the rest of the leftovers. You know?
No. Foreigners don't eat overnight food. Foreigners don't eat what's left over. So
they ate the food. Trust me.
No. When I say foreigners, tourists, I'm referring to you guys as tourists. Y'all don't. Yeah, them not come back for this man. This cook from yesterday. So you were actually feeding his boys as well. This is unbelievable for real. Carla, I agree with you. This is unbelievable. So Kevin came. He ate.
Yes.
His boys ate. Yes. So you were actually feeding them for the couple of days that you were there. This is crazy.
Let's be clear. The reason why he invited himself to dinner was because because all of the nights it was not the 5-star chef. Some of the nights the little young boys was cooking. You know, it was not the same cook all the rest of the time. So 5-star chef, I do remember him introducing himself as that one of those days, but who knows if that was even true. So because it was this amazing 5-star chef, Kevin was like, I'm going to come. His food is so delicious. I'm going to come have dinner with you guys. So we were like, okay, sure, whatever. We didn't, at this point, he has a great way of making you feel like he has done something for you.
Something great for you.
My lawyer said I should throw y'all out, but I'm not going to throw y'all out. And I'm going to get y'all this chef. Y'all going to have to pay me $140 for it, but I'm going to get y'all this great chef. So, and I'm going to come eat. So he did. He came and sat at the head of the table and ate. And at this point, we don't have any reason to not allow this because we're feeling grateful because he's made us believe that technically he could throw us out, but he's choosing not to throw us out because he's such a wonderful man. You understand? So of course, when he invites himself to dinner, there's no reason for us to say, no, excuse me, no, you can't come. We feeling like we are really on his property. We don't know.
He pretty much trapped you as well. He manipulated you. Mm-hmm. He did. Straight up. He did. And I see people making comments, and you have to understand that sometimes we will joke about certain things. The goat, he was sacrificing animals as well in his church. So probably one of them goat there where you get, they're probably, from one of those sacrificial, offerings. And, I personally feel like he probably was coming to, scout the entire family to see, which one could be, because it is a gentleman revealed to a popular website that he was into trafficking young men.
Right. I heard that. And I've said that in one of my videos. I didn't know if it had any validity to it. But the reason why I know for a fact that there were a lot of people that contacted me via YouTube or Facebook or whatever after the fact. And most of them were young men who complained about having been used and abused by Kevin, claimed that, he was having sex with them. He had used them. He had, so a lot of them, a whole lot. But let me be clear. There was nothing but young men around him, escorting him. Even when the police came and he walked down the driveway. There were two young boys holding him, walking him down like he was a royal king to the police.
So hold on, two young men were flanking him.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, as in side and like next to him.
That's how they escorted him around. Absolutely. Like, I didn't know, because to be honest, it kind of looks like I didn't know if it was because he was handicapped or he couldn't walk by himself. I mean, because it kind of looks like how you help your grandfather or somebody, But yeah, on each side, they just hold him. So,
yo, this is crazy. So the man came to dinner, sat at the head of the table.
He did.
Then swindle another $360 out of you guys.
And 140.
Then his henchmen ate the leftovers.
They did.
Then turned the water off, the heat off, changed the locks on the door. This is a movie. Jamaicans are going in about this. But guess what? I want to jump to the police. So the police actually bowed. The police gave in. The police said, okay, we will come to you, Mr. Excellence.
Yes, they did.
When they arrived at the house, what happened? And as a matter of fact, you said that when they were going to the house, you were a little bit skeptical because...
Absolutely. Because, okay, so we had sent the kids to the new house. So it was me and my friend. We get in the back of the police car. So if I'm not mistaken, Coral Garden Police Station is kind of like at the bottom of Montego Bay, this hill, this Iron Shore. So I know they know where this house is. I know they know this address. They have to. They hit a corner down a dark street, no lights whatsoever. It was like an alley. And we jokingly, me and my friend in the back seat, like, where are y'all taking us? Y'all gonna kill us? What is going on? To be honest, it scared the mess out of us. I mean, and understand, I remember saying that jokingly, though, kind of. We were kind of like taken aback because it felt like they didn't know where they were going to find this property. And we said to them jokingly, like, where y'all taking us in this dark street? Y'all gonna kill us? Laughing. But the truth of the matter is, it was a very scary situation.
Hold on, Sabrina. Hold on. The driver that usually, take you guys around on the excursions and stuff, when they were taking you guys, or he was taking you guys to the police station, he drove a different route than what the police actually took to go back to the house? That's how you knew you guys were not going in the regular direction?
No.
So this raised a red flag for you?
No, not the driver. Me and my friend, the driver in this moment was escorting the children to the new house. Our driver who had been
I get that. So the police, who brought you back to the house? The police?
The police.
And they didn't drive the regular way or direction or route that you...
I don't know the regular way, but all I know is they acted like they couldn't find it. You understand? They were like, what, where? They turned and went down this really, really dark street, super dark, so much so that we had to say, what is going on? We can't even see nothing. Y'all gonna kill us? That's what we actually said, but we were playing. It was scary, but we were joking. And sure enough, eventually they maneuvered out, and then they found it. But I find it very hard to believe that the people who govern this area, Iron Shore, don't know where this house is.
What happened when you get to the house? What happened when you get to the house?
There, and initially, the guy, the very one that I went to tell that I was leaving, told me no. He comes down and he starts talking to the police, and he's saying that Mr. Smith said that we cannot come onto the property, meaning me and my friend, because at this point it's just me and her. Now Junior has by this time gotten all the kids to the house, and he's back. I'm sorry, the driver, he's back. Our driver, who we knew and felt comfortable, he was back. So it was just me, my friend, and driver, and the two cops, and they're at the gate. So eventually, I don't know, two people came down and escorted Mr. Smith down, and we're talking to, and we're standing outside. Yeah, see, we're all out on the outside gate. So yeah, see the driver's right there. He's with us. So, and there's a police car, and they're at the gate right there. They're talking. Initially, they were not talking. That's the gate we hopped over. Yeah. So eventually, Mr. Smith comes down, and he's saying to the police, "I'll talk to you guys, but I don't want them present," meaning me and my friend that just hopped this fence, the people he locked in. He doesn't want us there. So in the video, you hear my friend saying, "Well, why would that be possible? Why do you?" Yeah, the guy in the lavender shirt, that's the one who was in the garage the entire time. That's the one that said I couldn't leave in the purple lavender shirt. Him. Yes, him. He is the one. Because Mr. Smith at the time. Now, and understand, Mr. Smith wasn't on the property when we left. But by the time we got back, the chain was off the gate, as you see, and Mr. Smith was present.
So that raised a red flag. Like, why would you then remove the chains off the gate?
Yeah, because they knew it was wrong. They knew, and they didn't want the police to see the chains. But they didn't know I had a video and a picture of the chain. See, they could have got away with saying, "What chain? There was no chain. What are you talking about?" Because if it was lawful, let's just be honest. If it was lawful and it wasn't wrong, why'd you take it off when the police, you knew the police was coming?
That is still puzzling to me. So they knew exactly what they were doing. That's why we are asking the question, was this an attempted kidnapping for human sacrifice? Because how is it that when the cops came there now, you remove the chain? So what was their argument? What was their reason for chaining you guys inside the yard?
They said, you know how when you rent a hotel, and if you leave your credit card for incidentals, if you drink out the little mini bar, or you take a pillow, then they just charge your credit card. They were like, "Oh, we didn't get a chance to inspect the property." You know, let's just say we destroyed the house. You got my credit card, charge me. You don't chain me in the house. That's ridiculous. So that was one of the arguments that he was saying. And, you know, at the time, this is the thing, why you don't see any footage of me once they let us back in and we're standing there talking to him. And because he kept saying, "She's got to turn that camera off. You got to turn the camera off," you know.
So you were let back in on the property?
Just right in the gate, at the end of the driveway. There's a little door over. They didn't open the big gate. There's a little door right over to the right, and we all walked right in there. Right?
Oh, okay. Right. I get you.
Yeah, and we stood right there at the end of the driveway, and we talked. And he started talking. He started talking that nonsense. He started talking about the sale of the property and how he's the owner and this, that, and the other. And I kept saying, "What does that have to do with you chaining us in the property?" Because they really don't have anything to do with each other. You understand? I am willing to accept and believe that there could have been some shenanigans going on with the sale of the property. That don't have nothing to do with you chaining us in this property. So he started talking about that so much so, over talking the police, you know, and at this point, I'm kind of irate. That's ridiculous. What are you talking about? That had nothing to do with us. So the police, I guess they just got tired. I guess they just got tired of hearing the back and forth. And he just turns to me and he's like, "You know, I don't think you guys have a case. It's nothing unlawful. It's not a crime.
Just attempted kidnapping.
It's not a crime to chain us in. The only reason why we out is because we hopped this fence. What are you talking about?
Attempted kidnapping, though. What is he talking about?
So that's what happened. The police kind of just gave up. They just was like, "You got to sue."
So hold on. So let's go back. The reason for chaining you guys in, what they told the police, was because they wanted to make sure that nothing in the house was damaged. And should in case they find anything damaged, like, for example, a missing remote.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Then they could have charged you guys for that. But what does have to do with you guys being chained in?
Right.
You have a credit card or a debit card on file. Why not contact Mrs. C and say, "Hey, listen, the sofa boss, you know, and there's a hole punched in the wall, you know, and a pipe in the kitchen is broken, you know, and I have to bring my serviceman in to fix this. Hey, charge her card and reimburse me."
Absolutely.
Why do you need to chain people in? So he did talk about some remote being missing, right? That's what he told the cops, right?
Oh yeah, he did say that. He said, "There's a remote. They stole the remote. The remote was missing."
You went to Jamaica, spend almost $4,000, not even counting the plane ticket for everybody, and you want to steal a remote for a TV?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Was it made out of gold? The fact that he's Mr. Royalty, was the remote made out of gold?
And let's just say somebody accidentally packed the remote or something in the middle of us. Is that, do you chain people in the house because of that? If they couldn't find a remote in that moment, that's just ridiculous. Let's just say.
But they still didn't even come in to find the remote or look if anything is damaged or missing it. Yeah. So that's why people are saying that. And Mr. Smith had something up his sleeve. He had something up his sleeve.
That's another thing somebody said. Let's just say their story of wanting to inspect the property. Okay, great time to do it. The police are here. Let's all go in and inspect the property now. So that's what you want to do, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
I remember when we first spoke, I said that to you as well. I said then.
Yeah, that was you. Okay.
The police is there, so why not going in now?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Walk through, do a thorough walkthrough to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and the V's are joined. So you get a W right there and you just say, okay, cool, ma'am. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Right. Nothing was damaged. Mr. Smith had something up his sleeve. I mean, I won't catch trouble for that.
Come on. Mistake. Now that I see what has happened, now that I see what has happened, I absolutely believe that we were in far more danger than we realized. I absolutely know that we are it is nothing but intuition. You know how they say, follow your intuition, easily. I could have questioned my intuition that told us to get out of there and been like, oh, I'm overreacting. Oh, I'm tripping. It's not a big deal. No, I'm so glad that in that moment I listened to my intuition, because now here a year later, I realized that we were in the presence. We are sitting down at dinner. I'm sitting in the car talking to somebody that is capable of what he has done now. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Sabrina? So I absolutely give God all the credit for getting me out of there. That wasn't just my intuition. That was God.
You're lucky. You guys are lucky.
We are truly blessed. And I know that. Let's just be clear. There is no doubt in my mind now. Not only do I know that, I believe it was in God's intention for me to know this now. You understand? Because, like I said, I was harassed so much. I was called a liar. Oh, you overreacted. Oh, you this. Mm-hmm. Oh, you ruining Jamaica's tourism. Mm-hmm. All kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. My life was threatened. People said if I come back to Jamaica, they would kill me. All behind this.
Wow, really?
All behind. Absolutely.
Wow.
And the cook, Miss D, was one of the main people on the way to the airport through my WhatsApp. She was just cussing me out, calling me all kind of horrible names. The one that I said we thought was so amazing. The one we thought was so kind. The very one that stole our money. Now, this is the thing. Let's just say you stole the money. It's hard times. You stole the money. How do you then become a person that is now harassing me and calling me names? How are you not saying, you know what? I'm sorry. Times was hard. I needed the extra money. I should have done that. I mean,
she's not going to. If she took the money, she's not going to admit it. No.
But even if you don't admit it, how are you then harassing me? How are you then calling me every name in the book like I did something to you? I don't understand the mindset of that, because if you're a good person, you seem like a good person. I'm a good person. If we ever really do wrong, you feel that conviction. You're like, man, I got to make this right. You're not going to take some money of a family who liked you and then harass them all the way to the airport. It's ridiculous. Who does that?
I mean, it's just trying to deflect the guilt. That's what guilty, people usually do. They tend to, deflect it and like, oh, I'm proving, I'm trying to show you that I'm not guilty. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you're going to lie. I don't think you're going to even try to sell that lie. With all of that you have gone through, why would you even want to tell a lie that somebody stole money from you? You said that at times, when she would go and purchase items for you guys, she wouldn't return you guys change.
Yeah, that was the main thing. That was the main thing. We were just saying, because she was saying, oh, I bought the food. I did buy it. We were like, give us the receipt. Where's the receipt?
No receipt. Well, it depends upon where she go to buy the stuff, though. Not every shop in Jamaica would give you a receipt. That much I can say. Not, on a serious note, she might go to a corner shop. She wouldn't
Right.
probably go to a supermarket. And Jamaicans, they don't really keep receipt. They might get the receipt and they throw it out, honestly. So I'm not gonna say she deliberately kept the receipt from you guys. But if this is a regular place that is rented to Airbnb, customers or guests and they're tourists, it should be customary that the owner have them present the receipt to the guests because they're going to see what their money have been spent on and how much money was spent, and so you would get back the change.
But
Because
let me be clear.
Go ahead.
We wouldn't have known anything about this. It is Kevin who told us this. You understand? It is Kevin that showed up that day and said, "Hey, how much did y'all give the maid?" That he brought the situation to our faces. We didn't know. We would have went in there and saw whatever food was it. We would have never known because we don't know how far $360 goes on food in Jamaica. We don't know. We would have never known. He pointed that out and fired her. He did that.
Wow.
We would have never known. And listen, and let me tell you something. I'm a very forgiving person. Let's just say I truly, and this is, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I can forgive you pocketing a little bit, saying they gave me $360. I'm only going to spend $300. I'm going to keep the $60. I can forgive that. I truly can forgive that. I have a problem with the way she acted when she got caught after the fact. You know, because even in the video, in the very beginning of my video, it is me crying to her saying, "We loved you. We liked you." You know what I'm saying? So had she just been like, "You know what, you're right. I kept a little extra," you know, I don't believe in judging a person as a whole because of one act. So if she was just somebody who wanted to get over on tourists every now and then and pocket an extra 50 or extra 60, that okay.
My bad. Sorry.
Okay. Even
I was trying to find the clip where she was hugging you, but
it's in the very beginning of the video. It's in the
never mind. I mean, our viewers can go back and check you out on Facebook, but I'll have you mention that when we finish up with the interview. All right, let's go to the police report. You went there 2 days after they came to the house and did nothing. Why did you go back to the police station after that?
Because I was talking to somebody, I don't know who it was, and they were like, "You didn't get a physical report?" You know, everything was so overwhelming and such an uproar. No, I walked out of the police station without a physical report. Let's just be clear. So I felt stupid for doing that. And I was like, we were leaving that day. So now we're on the 26th. This is 2 days after we, got moved. And so I go back. I have the driver take me back to the police station before we go to the airport. And I walk in, same guys, thank God. And they were like, who are you? I'm like, you don't remember me from 2 days ago when I got chained in the house with my family and came down here? Y'all, what are you talking about? What? Hello? Excuse me. I mean, I really had to act just like that. I had to say, excuse me, what are you talking about? You don't remember? I was just here. Remember the huge incident, the big incident that where you had to go back to the property, you know? So eventually they couldn't deny it because I just wasn't going to give up. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about? I need a police report. What's your name? What's your badge number? I only know that because my friend from Jamaica was like, get the badge number, get this. They were telling me what I needed to get and what I needed to say and to ask for the officer on duty. You know, I had somebody was kind of telling me like, this is what you do. This is what you go in there because it's ridiculous. You came out of there without a report. So that's what I did. He opens this big book, which is the book where you write down the reports, right? And he's acting like he's looking for the incident. Okay. He's like, it's not there. Okay. So I'm right there. So I'm like, where is it? You know, where you didn't write this down? You didn't write this down. Women and kids get chained in the property. I mean, really, he's like looking, scanning the book. Like, because it's kind of big.
They didn't log this in the book, in the incident report book?
At all.
Are you serious?
How do you have a situation where women, children, and babies have complained about being chained in a property, you actually talk to the person and you get in the car and drive over there.
And it was the same. Hold on. This wasn't a different officer. It was the same officer who had to leave the station, drive on this dark road, took you to the property, speak with Mr. Smith just 2 days prior to you going back there, and he's acting as if he knows nothing of the sort.
It was like he didn't see me.
Sabrina, you're lying. Sabrina, you're lying. Stop lying. You're lying.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what? And I thank God. Everybody's like, "Oh, she loud, she ghetto, she got her." If I wasn't loud and this way and aggressive, I would have. Them people would have stood there and act like they never seen me a day in my life. Because that's exactly how they were. I mean, first of all, I told you when I walked in initially, they were like nonchalant, like, "What you need?" You say, "What happened now?" Really? Okay. Who are you? What you do? If I wasn't the personality that I am, they would not have get. And then you see what he did finally give me. So there is no report. What I have that you see on the video is that little white piece of paper that I insisted on getting that has no information. It just has Officer Anderson badge number. I mean, the officer's badge number. Sorry. And that's it. Now, even in the incident nature of report, it says report dispute. It doesn't say 8 women and children were locked and chained in the building. It doesn't say none of that. But that's all they would give me. So that was what I was forced to leave with. And I was feeling kind of grateful that I at least got that. At least it gave me the badge number and the name of the officer.
So hold on. Just that little piece. Because what I'm looking at now, the nature of report is just report / dispute. That's it.
That's it.
And he just gave you this piece of paper.
That's it.
But there's probably no record of this.
There is no record.
There's probably no record of this either. He just wrote you something just to appease you and say, "Hey, go on about your business because you ain't coming back to Jamaica."
That's exactly.
We don't have to worry about you coming back to Jamaica because Mr. Smith has already paid us off.
Right. I mean, I didn't think that then. I didn't understand. I wasn't connecting all those dots then because in any country, I've traveled to many countries, you assume that the police are on your side and there to protect you. I in no way in that moment felt like, wait, they're conspiring against me. They working against me, because I just didn't get it. Oh, this is major, right? This is major. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't forget this. Because they were acting like they didn't know me, I was forced to pull out the video. And I said, "Hello, this you, right?" Remember and I pulled up the video and showed him himself. He said, "Delete that video right now. You don't have a right to record me without my knowledge."
No, say it how he said it. Say it how he said it.
He said, "Delete that video right now. You don't have the right to record me without my knowledge," right? I don't know how to speak the way it is. But that's what happened. So, of course, I'm the smarter. In the iPhone, you can delete it, but it's not really gone. It's in your, until you fully go back into that other folder and delete it, is there. But yeah, so he wanted me to delete the footage. He didn't even say, "Oh yeah, I remember, that is me. Oh yeah, now I know who you are." He was like, "Delete that video, delete that." Why?
All of a sudden he remembered, but he wants you to delete the video, not knowing that when you delete it from your album, it goes into the trash and it stays into the trash. All right.
So thank God I didn't delete it. And thank God, people always give me a hard time about filming everything. Had I not filmed this, every part of it, except, they wouldn't let me film when we were got to go in and talk to Kevin after police were there. Had I not filmed this, nobody would ever believe this happened.
I mean, the story sounds really, really like it's made up on a serious note. I mean, you were chained in because they wanted to do inspections of the house.
Right.
And you first told the cops that you guys checked out and you owe them money. And I mean, who does that though? I've never seen, I've rented Airbnb before. And I've never seen a case where, let's say you owe them money or you might, do whatever. And they're going to say, "Oh, you can't leave until you pay us." Right. First of all, there's no cash, hard cash, transaction, no tangible transaction with cash in hand. There was no exchange whatsoever. It's always electronically. It's always digital.
Absolutely.
So charge the card.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't buy this story about, oh, no, you know.
No, that was just something he came up with off the top of his head. Because, you know, I assure you, I don't think they, of course, I didn't anticipate, I didn't know we was going to have to hop the fence, but I don't think they were prepared for the fact that we've now escaped. So now we're out with the story. You understand? So now we out and at the police department. So they had to come up with something. He had to come up with something. And to be honest, you know, I remember being frustrated with the cop when he just gave up. He was just like, you know, he just listened a little while, listen. It was two of them. And then he just like, you know, there's no crime here. I'm like, what do you mean there's no crime? It's like, you need to sue the previous owner. That's what he told me. You need to sue the previous owner.
It's always the previous owner. It's the previous owner's fault to knowing that she was going to give up the title in a few days, but still happens to rent it out to you guys. And, you know, he had to fire her staff and bring in his staff. And because of her, they got to conserve on the utilities. You know, there's no air, there's no water, and he has to protect his property by chaining the gates in the daytime and in the nighttime for your own safety, and changing the locks on the door, so therefore no Montegonians will break in and try to steal your property. He's such a nice man, and he said that his lawyer told him to evict you guys, but because of the goodness of his heart and being a great bishop, he's going to let you guys stay. You know, when I first heard the video and I hear you keep saying, Bishop, 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 I thought you were one of his congregants. I thought you were a member of his church, maybe attached to, you know, the US of A. I didn't know that you were perfect strangers.
Yep. Don't know him at all.
Because you were still respectful even after being in the position and in the situation that you find yourself and your family. You were still calling this man Bishop. Yeah, so his charisma still worked. His charisma worked.
Let me be clear. I keep hearing people say that, and that is exactly what he has. I don't know if it's a learned behavior, but he is very charismatic. He is very convincing. He has, and I do now believe that people can learn to manipulate people that way, and they don't even know they're being manipulated. Because, like I said, he made me feel that he was doing us a favor, and I felt like I was at his mercy, because I definitely didn't want to have to find a new place for my friends and my family and my kids to get thrown out after all this money we spent. So he is very, very smooth voice, like, yes, and you know, but I'm such a great guy, and I am the royal crown bishop, His Excellency of this, that, and the other, and you know, and I'm the richest and the youngest preacher in Jamaica, and I own a home not far from here. And he even said, I'm not mistaken, he even said he had a wife and a child. I remember him saying
he said he had a wife and a child?
He did. I remember him saying he had a wife and a child. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because, you know, everybody else picked up the little vibe that he was interested in boys, but I didn't get that from him at first, because
you didn't spend enough time around him. You might have.
I didn't get that, because that charismaticness, that little smooth voice, it can almost feel like flirting a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it can almost feel like flirting. So I didn't feel like he was interested in boys until the boys start reaching out to me, talking about how he had hurt them, how he had abused them sexually. So, I mean, I didn't even know that. My daughter was like, "Oh no, yeah, you didn't get that vibe," but I didn't get that vibe from him at first. But
so hold on, boys actually reached out to you after you made those posts and stuff?
After I posted the video a year ago, February 2020. A lot, if you scroll through a lot of the comments, a lot of boys reached out to me, some on Facebook inbox, a lot of boys, at least it was about 4, maybe 6 of them, let's just say that reached out, telling their story, telling how he had hurt them and manipulated them and abused them and promised to, you know, do this, that, and the other. And I can't remember, I'd have to go back and reflect, but I remember specifically the boys just like, wow, you know. That's so sad though, because it's just because they were loyal. Understand? The ones that were there, and all of these young men looked like boys that were 25 and under, maybe 26 and under. Young boys.
Young boys, little boys.
Very, very loyal. Whatever he just, I told you, they take him by the arm and just escort him, just loyal, just his, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
The thing is, though, he bought the house with the furniture and stuff because, hey, why are you going to defend a remote that doesn't belong to you? As a matter of fact, you didn't even get the title yet.
Yeah.
So we're seeing through all of that. We're fully understanding that Sabrina, you guys are very, very lucky, and I can say that I don't think it was anything that has to do with him trying to secure his property and to make sure that nothing was damaged, because there's always a security deposit, or just in case you didn't have a security deposit, your account information is on file, your card is on file.
No,
he could have easily done that. So I feel like there was something up. I feel like he just wanted to be the boss. He's a slave driver, and he manipulates everyone that goes around him. And he was trying to do that to you guys. And then he tried to use charismatic witchcraft on you, which is to say, okay, yeah, I will let you guys stay there. I'll get you a cook, a 5-star this. And then he tried to, showboat on you and to say, okay, I am his royalty and his excellency, and I have so much, degrees, and I'm the youngest and most, liked pastor, and it's just a case of bedazzlement, and it's just a case of him trying to sweep you off your feet. But he didn't have intentions of dating you. He didn't have intentions of flirting with you. He had other intentions. And I say this with a smile, but we can laugh at it now, because thank God that you're alive, and thank God that your family made it out alive, and you guys didn't fall victim to this man, because God, he knows how many other persons have fallen victim to this horrible monster, who a lot of people are now speculating that his death was to silence him in calling names. A young man came out and he said that this man used to sell him and other young men to prominent businessmen from Montego Bay and Kingston. And he's very liked in corporate. That's what his bio says. And clearly, he's also well liked in certain communities in Jamaica.
When I heard